I wanted the book, again, what I said before, I wanted the book to be really accessible. I did not want the book to be too ostentatious. Because it's really an invitation, so I really wanted people to feel drawn in the book, and not, when you open a book and you have something really spectacular, then in all aspects, colors, shape, form, it can be a bit wow, overwhelming. And I want this book to be a nice poetic ride all through. So that's why I kept it pure, simple. Also, it's to say that all the contributors to the book are people who are quite humble, and this is something I found when I dealt with them or met them. There's quite a lot of humility in artisanship. They're not people who are going to show off their skills, or because they have a true love about their craft or about the material they work with. And I think it just shines through their product and ultimately in the book. It's just a book about humble people who are extraordinarily talented. And I'm glad that the readers can obviously see that it's simple in a positive way, of course. We have to consider all these artisans are not really exposed, so they're quite up and coming, and obviously it's a very difficult thing to do, to be an artisan. Most of them have to gather, and obviously by uniting they're stronger. So they organize little craft fairs, private trade shows, and so it was, as soon as you know where it takes place and you enter these communities of artisans, then obviously I could find more easily artisans. So this was another way, and a good one, to find artisans. And then obviously the internet, blogs, but also the magazines, so I would say the press in general, but the internet, of course, with blogs, websites. But I've always been scouting, so I just had also to look back to my notebooks and say, well, 2 years ago I saw these amazing designs and these amazing creations. Let's look at these again. Quite honestly, I could have written, a book with, there are 75 people in this book. I could have written a book with 200 people, with 1,000 people. So at the end of the day, I went with what I felt quite special, also with what I would buy, and sometimes I've already bought items from these people. So it's a personal book at the same time. It's a very difficult job to have, or passion to have, because it's you don't become a ceramicist or a wood carver or a glass blower, overnight. You have to train, and it can take years to master really the skill. So it's really time consuming for the training itself. And then it's really time consuming for the production of each item. Each product is made individually, and it takes time. Sometimes it's a one-off, sometimes it's a very limited series of products. So time consuming in all aspects. But at the same time, these artisans, they're usually their own boss, so they're their own boss, they're the maker, but at the same time they have to promote, and they are their own accountant and financial advisor, so they have all these jobs at the same time, because it's very difficult to delegate. They cannot delegate what they do, because they mastered a skill with their own hands, and you can just cut off your hands and give them to someone else. So it's a really tricky position where, when they grow and when they become more successful, well, they have to produce more, but it takes time, and at the same time people expect novelties. It's a tricky a fine line between the time for creation and creativity, creating new products, and the time for producing. And this is an equation that is really difficult for them, because how do you grow? Because you cannot delegate to someone else. So it's a very difficult one. But saying this, all the people I met are really happy with their craft and their artisanship, because again, it's a passion. It's a work of love. But you have, for me, to be really brave to go there. And as a person, as a consumer, I'm really grateful for these people.